live another awesome broadcast, and in this one we're going to be making Apollo Crews debut attire. Now on Community Creations they do not have a debut attire yet for them, they did not make one yet, so I'm going to go ahead and make one. Now I have pictures to my phone, so you'll be seeing me glance down at times, that's just because I'm looking at the pictures that I have of him. I took pictures of my TV. Now, I don't know if you could see that, but I took pictures of my TV as I was watching Monday Night Raw. And I took a picture of him, and he was about to do his bench press lift, on top of the breeze. And I took a picture of his front trunks. And then as he was spinning around, when he did that back suplex clutch, going for that spin out power bomb, he was moving around, so he moved around the 360. So I took a picture, and I got the whole entire side of his trunks, all four sides. I got the front, the two sides, and the back, so I know what his trunks look like throughout the whole thing. So I'm gonna try. It's gonna be pretty hard to do it, and it might take me a little while to do it, but I'm gonna try my best. And if it doesn't look that good, I'll try to go back into it and try to change things up a little bit. But I'm just going to try my best to try to make Apollo Crews attire, because the attire that he wore Monday Night Raw is going to be one of the hardest ones, one of the hardest attires I've ever done. But I'm going to try my best to do it and see what I can do. See if I can manage to pull this off here. So yeah, let's go ahead and get right on into it. So you'll be seeing me glance at my phone at times. That's just because I'm looking at his, attire. So let's go ahead and get right on into this. Now the thing is, I'm not gonna be really talking through this because I'm gonna be concentrating, but I am gonna play Apollo Crews' theme song, Cruise Control, the whole entire time. Now I got the 30-minute version. So I'll be playing the 30-minute version, and it might be longer than 30 minutes, so I'll probably just start the song over. If it does end before I'm finished, I'll just start the song over. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and play the song. If it is too loud and you're watching this and you think it's too loud, now I'm not gonna be talking, so you won't really have to worry about hearing what I have to say. But if it is too loud, you don't really like loud music, either turn the volume down on your side, or I can just turn the music down on my side a little bit. So just let me know. But we're going to go ahead and get right on into this. I'm going to go ahead and get the song. My iPad's way over here charging, so I have to leave it over here, so I'm just trying to reach for it here. I'm going to go ahead and play the song, and we're going to get right on into this. If I can get it to push play. Alright, let's do this. One more thing too. Okay, so it's happened to a lot of people, so it's not just me, but sometimes when you spend a very long time on a character, the game will stop. It will just end, and it'll say an error has occurred. So to prevent that from happening, there are going to be times where I accept and save just to have the whole thing saved, because it's going to take a little while, and I don't want the whole thing getting deleted. So I will, press accept and save at times too throughout this whole thing, and then get back into it. So just letting you know. space to do these logos. Getting close. Alright, so the song's over. Let me do it one more time here. Oh, we're getting so close. We're getting so close. Like right there. That's gonna happen. looks great though. I just need 3 more characters. Just at the beginning. So the beginning is that right there, and then that. So I think we'll delete this one. Could be that one way up there. That little plant down there. Yeah. Delete that one. Alright, then we have that one right there, that big giant one, then we have those two, then we have that circle, then we have okay, so we have the circle right here, okay, then we have that part of the A, then that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one. We have the C, we have that slanted one, we have that one, we have that one, we have this one. So I hope this is the right one, the one it's supposed to be. Deleting here, let's find out here. How you doing, Game Dev? Hoping this is the right one. Okay, that's not the right one. I'll put that back. Crap. Okay, so if that's not the right one, so we're gonna have that one right there, and that, and that, and that, and that. Go on to C. Go on to that slant one, and that, and that. I wonder if it's this one right here. It might be this one right here. I'm hoping. Yeah. Okay, cool. So it's that one right there. We'll put that A1 back. I think the next one is right here. And I'll put that A back. Make the A. Otherwise, look at the man. And C. Apollo Cruise. Apollo Cruise. Alright. Good, now we got those later. Those are just 2 minor things. I mean, it's part of the attire, but it's just 2 minor things. So I just need enough for Cruise. So let's go back to the trunks. We'll go back to logo, and I'll put that part of the A back. Right there. Okay. So now we got 2 things deleted. We need 1 more. Still don't have enough. Do 1 more minor thing I can delete. Still don't have enough. Let me see what I have here. Let's go logos. So let's see what I have to do here. Oh, I do have enough for Cruise. That's what I needed, okay. I do have enough for Cruise. Sweet. Apollo Crews. That took forever. Okay. Going to accept that. Now we have to make the shirts for Apollo Crews. I'm pretty sure I have his logo, his shirt logo. I'm pretty sure. And this will be up on the community creations as well. As soon as this is over, it will be on community creations. So ready for download. And I will officially be the first one to have made Apollo Crews' debut attire from Attire. And I want to challenge myself and do it the hard way, so I didn't really make logos. I just did it by hand with just, you know, those little tiny logos and stuff. I just made it by hand, because I could actually make that whole thing one logo, and that one, that A1, you know, the A and C, to make that one logo. But I decided to just do it by my own and just see how it turns out. But throughout, I'll probably try to change it, make it look a little better. But as of right now, that's all I can do. Alright, so now we have to go into the shirts and make a shirt. Go to the upper wear. Oh, I reached the maximum amount of layers? How? I just had the chunks. That doesn't make sense. What if I move these right now? Alright, so here's the only problem. I reached the maximum amount of layers because I spent them all in that attire. So I'm going to actually probably, after this video, I'm going to put this in community creation, and I'm going to go on that little software that I have that I make all my logos on, you know? And I'm going to make each piece in the logo. So I'm going to make that whole backside of the logo. Then I'll make this little part of the logo. And then I'll make the AC right there with the circle. I'll make that a logo. And do it like that. So it'll be like a big chunk, so it wouldn't be like a bunch of different little logos. Because it's just, I'm at the maximum layer. So I have to delete the armbands, the right armbands. So I can put the shirt on them. Let's go to tops. I'll put a top on them. What is that one right now? And I think somewhere I have the logo, the front logo. Somewhere. I'm trying to find it again, so just give me a second here. turned out good. There it is. His face turned out pretty good. Took me quite a while to do that. Okay, so now we have his Apollo Crews shirts. And I think that might be all I'll be able to do on him. I don't think I'll be able to do the back side of his. I don't think I'll be able to do the back logo. Yeah, that's all I can do for him for right now. So like I said, I'm gonna go back and make actual big giant like logos now for his trunks or whatever. Because otherwise, it's just like all these small bits and pieces built together. But until then, this is basically what you're gonna get. So I'm gonna go ahead and save this because, you know, just in case. I was trying not to jinx myself there. I'm gonna save this so it doesn't turn the game off because that happens quite a bit. Alright. So now, before I upload him as well, I'm going to be actually in this video, I'm going to be adding, me making his moveset as well. I need to make his moveset. So I'll make his moveset, and then I'll try to make his entrance too, as well as I can, so we can make his entrance. And Apollo Crews will be set. And then the Apollo Crews card will come with the full entrance and the moveset. It won't come with a theme song because you'll have to use your iPad if you want his theme song, or a phone or whatever you have. So now let's do his name. Another problem, they do not have Apollo Crews in this game. They don't have his name, which kind of sucks. So I have a name for him that I picked out. I kind of forgot what it was, but I put a name for him. So I'm gonna go in there and see what that is, see if maybe I'll use that. The Doll Cruise. I'll just put the last name, just Cruise. I'm gonna go in really quick, and I'm gonna see what the social media account name is, and I'll use that one. So, sorry really quick, just give me just 1 second here. I'm gonna try to go back to his debut page where it shows his name and see what it says. Apollo Crews, Raw debut. Give me this one. I want to see what his account name is, social account name, so I can, like I forgot what it was. But I need to, see what that is so I can put that on there. It could even be Apollo Crews, I just put that down. But it could be Apollo Crews, so we'll find out here. Doing his entrance. See what it says with his name here. Social media. Apollo Crews. Oh, it doesn't even say it. Alright, well, right now, I'm just gonna put, I'll put Apollo Crews WWE right now. No, you know what? No. I'll do this. Oh, well, I'll just take this now. Cruise Control, WWE, and notice how Cruise is his last name. His last name Cruise, not the regular way you spell it. Cruise Control, WWE, we'll do that. Apollo Crews. should have enough for its whole name here. I think that should be enough, isn't it? Yeah. Apollo Crews. There we go. Now, personal information. He's from Stone Mountain, Georgia. He's definitely a face. Apollo Crews, looking at Apollo Crews and what he's, you know, what kind of character he is, I can tell he's going to be a face probably his whole entire career. He's just energized. He has a lot of heart in his company. Hometown, Stone Mountain, Georgia. We're going to do prideful. We're going to do that really up because he's very prideful and respectful. I would say his dominant trait is probably prideful. We do loyal. We'll make bold statements. He's going to be making bold statements in his, interviews. And then we'll do that like that. Skills. We'll have those up. I'm going to put springboards up. I'll do leverage. I'll make him a comeback. He's not dirty, so I'm not going to do the turnbuckle thing. We'll do barricade breaker, through table, skull crushing. We'll do those. Not catching finisher, but we'll do suicide dive. Let's do neighbor suplex. And then those are for Rob Van Dam and Sami Zayn. Very unique moves, so I'm just going to leave him not doing those. But he has neighbor suplex. We'll do an outside suplex. And I think this will be good for him. Tributes I'll do outside of it. And then this, I'm going to delete all these. Pin combo and diamond pin combo and a fan favorite. And then we'll do that too. We'll do resiliency 2, 30 pin. We'll do 1. Yeah. Well, he doesn't even need 30 pin. He doesn't even like. No, we're not even gonna do 30 pin. Here's what we'll do. Do that. Fan favorite, technician, resiliency, and then we'll do rope break. And then crowd sign. Yeah, we'll keep those. Brand, Raw and SmackDown, we'll do all, because he might still be on NXT too. And we'll do that, and we'll do that. It took me 54 minutes to make Apollo Crews from the very beginning all the way to now. 54 minutes. I knew it would take closer now, at least. Moveset. Now here's the thing with the moveset. They did not have his military press or his bench press moonsault combo in this game. And they did not have his powerbomb type move in this game. So I'm gonna probably do my best. It's probably I need to try to think of what I want to do for his moveset here. Go to Apollo Crews. Double is 88. Let me see if I can, on power, we'll do that 85. We'll do that 87. Let's do that 88. We'll do that 86 or 87. Let's do like that. Movement speed, we'll do 88 or 85, I mean. He can be very fast. He's very agile. Definitely agile. Way agile. Stamina, we'll do that 88. Stamina recovery. We'll do that, 89, damage recovery, we'll leave that the same, momentum, 89, chain wrestling, 85, the speed, do that 90, grapple offense, we'll do that 88, running offense, we'll do that 89, let's do that 87, reversal offense, we'll do that 85, that's always going to be a little weaker than the other one. Power submission offense, not really submission moves, so we'll keep these two at 70. He's not really a submission specialist. I don't really care about these being damaged, I like trying to make the overalls like where I think they should be, not like always 100 for every single person. Oil rage, he'll have that up. For offense, he doesn't really need strong oil offense, really. Even though he does a lot of offensive oil moves. It would just make his overall rate high. Springboard offense, do the same thing. Environmental offense, do the same thing. Aerial offense, you might actually. We'll put up here, 80. I'll put these down. Head durability, we'll have that 85. We'll have the body at 88, we'll have that 86. We'll have that at 80. Definitely want those, in case someone does commission them on us. I thought that was about to be with that back suplex and split. I was like, whoa, they actually do have it in this game, but that's not it, dang it. Look how close that is though, look how, it looks like it, except he just has to spin him and then drop him. Oh man, I thought that was it, I was about to freak out. Man. We're also spinning powerbomb right now. They don't have that moonsault. You see how he like turns around like that? He's supposed to do like the moonsault without like turning around like that. So the thing I might do for this one is I'll just do a shooting star press for this one. 2K17 they'll have those combos, or at least they should. And I hope they have Apollo Crews in that game, but they definitely should. They have the gorilla press. We do a curb stomp combo. Because for some reason, it doesn't do the moonsault one. Like, they don't have the military press drop, so they just drop him, and then like turns over. See, like he just stays on his stomach right there. He's supposed to turn over to his back, and then do the moonsault. So I might just do a Gorilla press. He turns around, spin into a curb stomp for this one. Just for this one. Listened to that song 2 times already. Do it one more time. movesets though. Let me see something here. Alright. Just trying to think what I can do. So for power cruising, go to advanced. The beginning needs to be like 7 seconds. It needs to be 7 seconds. Oh, it's only 1. That was close. Yeah, that look. Like right there, maybe. Like right there. Okay, so there. Okay. Alright. Has some smoke effect in there. I need someone with push back there. I might just do the content players, maybe. Also the content players. I think that'll be fine. could just do that. Set up. Yeah, let's do that. Alright. We'll do a nameplate. Alright. We're finished creating the entrance. Alright guys, so really quick, go community creations, uploads. Oh, somebody that can't. Don't send me the option to upload him. What? 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 I was gonna upload him. I'll try to figure out what's going on and I'll upload him. So I will upload him at some point, but I'll try to figure out what's going on with that. It's kind of weird. Anyway, but don't worry, he will be uploaded very soon. Once I figure out, you know, how. Another thing I want to mention too, is I want to thank everyone who has downloaded my stuff that, you know, I talked about. I talked about when I made the championship, and about don't forget to go ahead and download it, as it'll be up for download. And now for Kevin Owens, I have 6 downloads for Kevin Owens. Downloaded him not too long ago. But for my championships, I have 58 downloads on my championship. So I want to thank everyone for downloading my title I created and put it up here. 58, that's actually really good. That's the most downloads I've ever gotten any content I've ever had. Like I said, I'm not that person that gets, you know, thousands of downloads like other people do. Not sure how they get that many downloads and that kind of stuff. I guess you just have to be really good and download a lot of content. But I do want to thank everyone for downloading this championship that has downloaded, 58 downloads, as well as downloading Kevin Owens. I just want to mention that Kevin Owens is up for downloads. For all of you that want to download him, you can download him. I would say that this is probably, I try to make him the most accurate that I could possibly do. So this is probably the most accurate Kevin Owens attire for WrestleMania 32. If you look at his gear, like if you download him and then you look at his gear in real life, WrestleMania, and if you look at this one, it's as close as I can get it, and it actually looks pretty good. So that's that. So yeah, he's up for download for any of you that want to download him. It comes with the moveset as well, but you won't really have to worry about that because all you have to do is just go into the create a superstar, like the edit superstars or whatever. Once you download him, go ahead and go into the downloads, and then all you have to do is just compare his attire to yours, or to the one that you downloaded, which is this one right here. Just see how close it is to the, to this one, the one I made. And then you can just set his alternate attire, and you'll have his old engine and all that too. So, but yeah, he is up for download. Thank you to Shield, I appreciate it. By the way, I wish the Shield would reunite. That would be pretty awesome. Actually, that would be really awesome. I want Seth Rollins to return to the face, and then come back with the Shield. That would be so cool. So, I just spent time making Apollo Crews. I will figure out why he is not really. I'll figure out why he's not. Why it's not letting me download or upload him for some reason. But really quick, I will go ahead and show you the finishing. I'll go ahead and show you the finish of Apollo Crews that I spent literally an hour doing. I spent about an hour making Apollo Crews, and I spent 44 minutes doing the entrance to moveset. So I will go ahead and show you the finished product of Apollo Crews, which will be uploaded very soon once I figure out what's going on with the problem and everything. But the finishing touch of Apollo Crews. Here we go. They should definitely come back. I like this Shield a lot. I like them ever since they debuted. I liked them when they were face. I liked them when they were a heel, and I liked them when they were face. I like them either way. I don't like when people turn heel. I don't really like them that much. I don't like the heel superstars that much. But I will tell you one thing: I did like the Shield as a heel for some reason. I don't know why. I just did. But this is the finishing touch of Apollo Crews. This is his attire for Monday Night Raw. They debuted that, made it the closest I could possibly ever make it. I reached the maximum layer, so just to let you know that you won't be able to add anything else onto him. That's why I don't have the white wristbands that I wore. Because you won't be able to add anything else onto him. And then maybe you want to delete this attire once you download him and stuff like that. You can delete this attire and make a whole new one. But this will be up for download soon once I figure out why it's not letting me download it. And then upload it, and then once I figure out that problem, I'll upload him, and it will be up for upload. So thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like for future commentating videos, and I will see you all in the next one. Thank you guys. Have a good one.